Hi, everybody. Another edition of 49ers Live tonight. Professor B on Niners Radio 49 as we here live here in our satellite digital media studios in San Francisco. Of course, wishing all of you a very happy New Year. Hope you join the New Year on the 7th day of January. This is, of course, the first full week of 2025. And we got a lot going on tonight on Niners Radio 49. Of course, in case you missed some of our updates earlier in the day, 49ers making some changes as they're as we're on live on Niners Radio 49. Professor B, as we're here on Niners Radio 49 tonight, we're going to get everybody as we're here on Niners Radio 49 tonight, we're going to get everybody get you guys on here for tonight, or we're going to just, of course, the big news of the day that Nick Sorenson, their defensive coordinator, and Brian Schinder, special teams, are both out. As the Niners are going to part ways with for both of those two guys, and we're going to. Of course, with all you guys joining us on youtube.com/@NinersRadio49, Facebook.com/NinersRadio49. Tonight, we'll talk about what happened early in the day with the 49ers. And then in our Niners Radio 49 flashback, we continue like we've done all year. We're going to pay homage. It will be the 30-year anniversary honoring the 1994 49ers. We'll take a recap of the 49ers and as they take that first step towards their Super Bowl 29, their fifth Super Bowl in franchise history. We'll take a look back of when the 49ers end up playing the Chicago Bears in the NFC divisional playoffs. Plus, we'll recap all of the divisional playoff weekend from January 7th through the 8th of 1995. So we got a big upcoming show tonight on Niners Radio 49 on 49ers Tonight. And we are going to talk about what happened today. Nick Sorenson, they are parting ways with him. Yeah, I think it makes sense and not surprising if you look at what has happened. Niners finishing the season losers of 7 of their last 8 games. They end up going 6-11, and I'm looking at some of these stats. 49ers defensively, in at least 5 of those 8 games, have gave up an average of 37.8 points a game, and they've had out of those 8 losses, and in at least 4 of the 5 games, it was at least 30 or more points. They held the Dolphins to 29. They almost gave up a big fat 30. So I think so for the 4th straight year, the Niners will be looking for a new defensive coordinator to handle to get this team back on track. And plus, other news in the day that the status of Dre Greenlaw is uncertain, whether he'll be back. With the listen to Dave Lombardi earlier in the day in the podcast, I think it really started the calendar year when the Niners, 11 months ago this time, when the Niners lost that heartbreaker in the Super Bowl, and Drake Greenlaw, I think, only played ever since then, he only played like 12, 34 snaps. This year, comes back for the Achilles injury, but that I think if Greenlaw didn't get hurt in that Super Bowl last year, history could have definitely been different. History could have definitely been different, and I think the Niners would have won that sixth Super Bowl. But ever since that loss, the injuries, contract disputes, and the poor performance of the team, and then we'll get to about special teams coach with their special teams coordinator, Brian Schinder, getting let go early in the day or late last night. You know, and you think of the games that they gave away on special teams. Think of that fake punt, not once but twice. Week two against the Vikings that got points. Week 2 or 3 against the Rams that gave the Rams an extra additional extended possession. And then you also think about the when Moody got injured because of bad coverage on the kickoff and ended up missing a month, and Mitch Wisnowski, it just all that was just compounded by the injuries, not only offensively, defensively, but on special teams. You lose your punter and you lose your kicker and your punter. The kicker is a difference, and then Moody really struggled in the second half. He really struggled in the second half, and I wondered that now they may have to bring in a veteran kicker, to challenge him for his job. And I think a new person on special teams could help Moody, because Moody really had slumped in the second half after, I think, was just really never the same after he suffered that injury, missed a month. So we continue on Niners Radio 49. We are going to pick up what we're going to pick up with 49ers insider Matt Mayoko, his thoughts of Nick Sorenson, the Niners moving on, parting ways with Nick Sorenson. This is what he thinks for the future for the Niners, who could be the next defensive coordinator.
Somehow, and that doesn't happen very often, where a coordinator isn't back in that For the Jets, it was D'Amico Ryans for 2 seasons. Then it was Steve Wilkes. Then it was Nick Sorenson. So the 49ers have had, this will be the 5th defensive coordinator. Is that right? Saleh, Ryans, Wilkes, Sorensen, and then a new guy, assuming the new guy isn't one of those names that I previously mentioned, like Robert Saleh. So that's the quick update. 49ers make a dramatic move on their coaching staff. You knew that there were going to be some big moves made from the team this offseason, and that has started very early in this offseason before the playoffs even begin. 49ers switch out the their defensive coordinator from the 49ers coaching staff. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment, a like, and that is it for now.
All right, that was Matt Mayoko from NBC Sports Bay Area. We apologize for our audio technical difficulties, so we will. You can see all his stuff on YouTube and on Matt Mayoko contribute to on NBC Sports Bay Area throughout the year. We're going to try to get him to come on Niners Radio 49 podcast as we do the recap of the season sometime within the next week or so, maybe hopefully Friday or sometime early next week as we put a bow of this 2024 season. And here's some of the stats, from last year of this year. Last year, the 49ers had 22 interceptions, and they were plus 10 in that takeaway giveaway ratio. They were plus 10 in that ratio. This year, they only had 11 interceptions, and that takeaway giveaway was minus 10. So this is just and I think he also, for Mayoko also said that there's a possibility that that Sorensen could stay on with the 49ers and be moved to another position, possibly special teams. But, by the NFL rules, they have to interview minorities first to get that first crack of it. And then you also have to go through that long process, of, that long process with minorities and other candidates for that job. So, we will keep you updated on that. And then just a reminder, coming up, we'll have our special 49ers Live coming up. A Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, end of the year press conference coming up later this week. We don't know when exactly it's going to be. We're going to try to see. I'm going to look that up. The next, it will be actually tomorrow. Tomorrow, both John Lynch and head coach Kyle Shanahan will be available at the team's facility at the auditorium. Tomorrow it will be at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Niners Radio 49. We will give you that full press conference tomorrow at approximately 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. All you Niner fans in the Central Eastern Time Zone, we will give it to you in the Central Eastern Time Zone. 11:30 Pacific on the West Coast, 1:30 p.m. Central Time in the Central Time Zone. If you're Niner faithful living either in the Chicago area, we got Niner fans up in Wisconsin or, in Texas or in Louisiana, in the Midwest and the Southwest. That would be 11:30 Central, and then the Eastern Standard Time in the Southeast, Northeast, a lot of Niner faithful. It will be at 2:30 p.m. Pacific or Eastern Standard Time. So tomorrow's John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan's final press conference for 2024. We'll give it to you live on Niners exclusively right here on Niners Radio 49, as we'll have Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch's final press conference for 2025, and we'll be streaming you that in its entirety. So let's take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll give you the latest on the 49ers. And actually, when we come back, we'll give you the latest on the 49ers news, and then then after that, we will give you, and then we'll have our Niners 49 flashback, a look back of the 1984 NFC Divisional Playoffs. The Niners taking on the Chicago Bears on this date today, 30 years ago, January 7th, 1985. Niners taking that first step of winning the franchise, their fifth Super Bowl in franchise history. We'll take this time out. You're watching 49ers Live tonight on Niners Radio 49. Welcome back. Continue on 49ers Live tonight. This is 49ers Live tonight. Professor B on Niners Radio 49. A lot of Niners news in case you missed it earlier in the day. The 49ers end up parting ways with defensive coordinator, both with Brian or with Nick Sorenson, and they also part ways with the parting ways with the defensive coordinator Nick Sorenson as the Niners are going to move on, as they're trying to turn the page, and as the offseason is here for the 49ers, and they will and they'll just continue to and just we want to take a look of and this is a story we want to keep and this is from a source. I don't want to, so taking a look of what's going on the 49ers uh taking a look ta- so the 49ers as we looking on, we are going to just him and Nick Sorenson both out, and the 49ers some other to check out some other news coming through earlier in the day. Niners making some roster moves earlier in the day. As we're gonna go in that segment and get some of the important stuff out. By the way, the 49ers Live tonight is presented by Cash Creek Casino Resort. Feel like an MVP. Visit Cash Creek and Casino Resort Cash Creek and Casino Resort. Feel like an MVP. Please visit Cash Creek and Casino Resort. Please play responsibly. So we take a look at the 49ers news and notes early in the day. 49ers signed 4 players to reserve future contracts. They've announced they've signed Isaac Alacron, wide receiver Russell Gage, Isaiah Hodgins, Jalen McKenzie, future reserve contracts. As Hodgins was originally drafted by the Buffalo Bills in the 6th round back in the 2020 draft. Throughout his 4-year NFL career with the Bills, he played for the New York Giants, appeared in 31 games, started 14 of them, registered 60 receptions for 634 yards and 7 touchdowns. He started 2 playoff games for the Giants. He had 9 receptions for 108 yards. And then at the Giants practice squad, where he appeared in just 3 games, totaled 2 receptions for 12 yards. The 26-year-old from Oakley, California, attended Oregon State University. McKenzie, 6'5", originally entered the NFL draft after signing with the Tennessee Titans as an undrafted free agent on May 13, 2022. Throughout his 3-year career in the NFL, McKenzie has spent time with the Titans, Seahawks, Raiders, Patriots, and Giants in practice squads in 2024. McKenzie signed to the Giants from the Giants practice squad on December 11th. And then the 25-year-old Concord native McKenzie attended University of USC, appeared in 43 games and 19 starts on the offensive line. So those are some of the news for 49ers news from earlier in the Yeah, so we're going to be coming up on our next segment, the 49ers. Yep, so now coming up on our Niners Radio 49 segment, we're going to take you now through the our Niners Radio 49 flashback. Take a look back at the NFC divisional playoffs from 1994. Niners are going to be taking on the Chicago Bears, and we're going to take, as we have a chance, we're going to take a quick recap of the 1994 regular season. This was, of course, the National Football League that year was celebrating its 75th anniversary, and I remember it very well. That year in 1994, they were celebrating their 75th anniversary. And that was 30 years ago when they celebrated their 75th anniversary. As so the Niners, it was the 75th anniversary, and that season, Excuse me. So we're having some little technical. Here we go. So.
Welcome to Candlestick Park, where the surf meets the turf. Usually you say that about Del Mar Racetrack, but with the rain in the Bay Area all week long, this field could be a big factor in this afternoon's game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Chicago Bears. The Bears come into this an enormous underdog. They're not expected to be able to compete, but Dave Wanstead has created quite a team in Chicago.
Unfortunately for the Bears, George Seifert's team in San Francisco was not only better, but also hungrier for victory. The 49ers had acquired too much talent, worked too hard, and overcome too much to allow Chicago even one breath of hope. In a frightening display of offensive and defensive might, the Niners overwhelmed their foes in a furious barrage that destroyed the Bears before halftime. San Francisco's offense totals 9 current or former All-Pros in its lineup. Against Chicago, they showcased a future star in William Floyd, who scored his first of 3 touchdowns.
Young with a handoff. Floyd dives into the end zone. Touchdown, 49ers. That made a statement by the 49ers.
Less than 4 minutes later, San Francisco scored again.
Young drops back to throw. Pass to the end zone. Rick Jones on his knees. Genuflects in effect into the end zone. 49ers score again.
Chicago made the decision to completely ignore the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year. Such respect left Deion Sanders alone to twiddle his thumbs while the Bears went after more promising aerial targets. Dion was a non-factor statistically, but a huge factor tactically, as quarterback Steve Walsh went after the left side of the Niner defense.
Back to throw as Walsh steps up, lobs it way down the right side. This one could be picked. It is! Eric Davis takes it away for San Francisco. As Walsh goes back to throw and sends it deep middle, and it's picked off. 49ers have it again. Burton Hanks.
While the Bear attack stumbled, William Floyd rumbled for another score.
They give it to William Floyd. He falls into the end zone. 49ers put another score on the board.
This is our house. You come in, you act up, we kick your butt, you push out. Yeah.
To no one's surprise, the player who had the most impact was Steve Young.
Young carries it in himself. He dives into the end zone after he saw nobody open. He then slams the ball down after he got hit. And now a fight breaks out in the back of the end zone between the two teams.
Sacked 4 times, backup Eric Kramer fared no better in the second half than Steve Walsh had in the first. As expected, the 49ers breezed past the Bears in peak form with a victory that propelled them into their 3rd straight NFC Championship game against the Dallas Cowboys.
See you next week in Candlestick, baby. Next week. Anybody coming through here got to come through us. Showdown next week. Showdown time next week. Might be the real Super Bowl. One more week. One more week. Let's hope we don't have it like we did the last time we played here. We've lost 3 NFC championships in a row.
As Yogi Berra might have said, it was Dave.
Yep, and the real Super Bowl, it would come as the 49ers win this game decisively 44-15. As we're going to give you some of the numbers from this game. We'll take a recap of that game of the NFC Divisional Playoff as the Niners punching their ticket to the NFC Championship game for unprecedented 3rd straight year, and will mark for the 6th time in the last 7 years, 6 of the last 7 years, that they will be headed to the NFC Championship game for the right to play in the Super Bowl. And I believe it will be their 6th of the last 7 and their 9th since 1981. So we're going to take a look of the stats of that from the Niner Bears playoff game on this date, January 7th, 1994. at the beginning of the year. Many people had picked them who were expected the Chargers to finish dead last in the AFC West. This was the same Charger team that won the AFC West in 1992. After starting the season 0-4, they would go on to win 11 of their last 12 games under first-year head coach Bobby Ross, and they won the AFC West. And now for the second time in 3 years, they won the AFC West, when many people at the beginning of the year picked them to finish dead last in the very competitive AFC West. Many considered the best division in all of football. They were now going to advance to the AFC Championship game for the first time since the Dan Fouts, Eric Coryell, Dan Fouts, Glenn Winslow Charger team of 1981 played in the AFC title game, and they lost that AFC Championship game to the Cincinnati Bengals in the Freeze Bowl. Freezer Bowl with a temp 9 degrees below zero, and their high-octane offense shut down through that brutal cold, one of the coldest days in North American history in Cincinnati that day. So it's all set up now. For the AFC Championship, it will be the Chargers and Steelers. Steelers trying to get back to the Super Bowl for the first time since 1979, January of 1980, while the Chargers trying to get to the Super Bowl for the first time ever in franchise history. Meanwhile, the two best teams in football, the Dallas Cowboys, the two-time defending Super Bowl champions, looking for that elusive repeat, taking on the 49ers, who had won 4 Super Bowls in the 80s. The Cowboys, who already won back-to-back Super Bowls, have already took that next step of getting that claim of being the team of the 90s, taking on the 49ers, who had won 4 Super Bowls during the 1980s, who, of course, have been through a lot of personnel changes with their roster in recent years. Still, some of the players who were there in 88 and 89, like Jerry Rice, and some of the veterans were there, Brent Jones and Steve Wallace and Harris Barton and Jesse Sopolo, were there doing the back-to-back. They were trying to really win this one for Steve Young, who couldn't beat Dallas, and stepping in that shower for Joe Montana. This is what we've been playing for all since the start of training camp. The two best teams in football battling out for the right to get the Super Bowl 29, and all the moves with Eddie DeBarlo and Carmen Policy that they said after that loss, 2 losses in a row to the NFC Championship to the Cowboys back in January '94, they said after the second year row, as they exited, were on the elevator on the floor of Texas Stadium in Irving, said this is not going to happen to us again next year. And they restructured contracts. They signed some of the high-priced free agents from other teams, including Deion Sanders, including Ken Norton Jr., and guys like who had been on Super Bowl teams like Richard Dent and Charles Mann. He signed a veteran like Ricky Jackson from the Saints. And this was the opportunity, the Niners got their chance to try to break through the Dallas Cowboys, who try to play for history, and the Niners got this chance. And next week we will recap that game, 1984 NFC Championship game, Niners and Cowboys. And I would always say that was my favorite NFC Championship out of all the NFC Championships, my favorite 2 of all time. I would say the comeback against the Falcons in 2012, the NFC Championship against Dallas, and then the NFC title game in '88 when they go into Chicago, beat the Bears at Soldier Field, was my 3 favorite NFC title games. The 49ers have a chance right here to end the Cowboys' 2-year reign as Super Bowl champs. And next week on Niners Radio 49, we will recap. Next week we will do. We're going to recap next week. We'll have a double feature. We'll recap the 1989 NFC Championship game from from January 14th, 1990, when the 49ers took on the LA Rams, as we continue to celebrate the 35-year anniversary of the Niners' back-to-back Super Bowls. Now, on January 20th, and that will be in 2 weeks, we'll look back of Super Bowl 19 from January 20th, 1985, when the Niners taking on the Miami Dolphins at Stanford Stadium in Palo Alto. But we'll take a look back of the NFC Championship game, Niners and Rams at Candlestick Park. The two teams split the two games in the regular season. The Niners coming back to win on that Monday night. John Taylor, 90-yard strike for a touchdown. And then we'll take a look back next Wednesday, 1 week from tomorrow, Niners and Cowboys NFC Championship for the right to go to Super Bowl 29 in Miami in 2 weeks' time. That's going to do it for now tonight on 49ers Live Tonight. Professor B, just a quick note reminder, tomorrow morning, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1:30 Central, exclusive a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. So that's going to do it for tonight. I'd like to thank all of you who are watching in. You can always watch this on YouTube, replay of this podcast. And please, please, check us out on youtube.com/@NinersRadio49. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Our goal is trying to get 1,000 subscribers. 1,000 subscribers is our goal as we're trying to continue to build this thing, and we will be having Niners Radio Live, 49ers Live throughout the off season. We'll have special guests come on. We're going to try to get Matt Mayoko from NBC Sports Bay Area and Jennifer Lee Chan to come on to recap the Niners' difficult season. And we'll have so many other things and what the Niners look for 25 and so much more. But tomorrow, 49ers, a special edition of 49ers Live on Niners Radio 49. Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch will speak on the podium down at 49ers headquarters in Santa Clara tomorrow morning at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll give you the stream live in its entirety. Hope you join us then. For now, I'm Brian Professor B. Davis signing off. Thank you for watching 49ers Live Tonight with yours truly, Professor B, on Niners Radio 49. 49ers football faithful to the Bay. Wishing you all a very pleasant good evening. Good night, everybody. Take care.